What if the greatest achievements in human history weren't accidents, but memories? Across the world, ancient civilizations built things that still defy modern engineering. Stones heavier than airplanes, precision beyond factory machines, structures placed where logic says they should never stand. And the strangest part isn't just how they did it, it's that the same impossible ideas appear again and again, in cultures that never met, in eras that weren't supposed to think this way. We're told progress moves in a straight line, from simple tools to advanced machines. But what if history doesn't move forward? What if it resets? Today, we step into 6 places that quietly challenge everything we think we know. Not to sell myths or aliens, but to confront a far more unsettling possibility. That ancient humans weren't primitive at all. They were just playing a longer game than we are. Imagine trying to move a 100-ton granite box through a hallway barely wider than a modern bus, without cranes, without wheels, without even enough space to turn it. Now imagine doing it 2,500 years ago. That's not a thought experiment. That's the Serapeum of Saqqara. Beneath the desert sands of Egypt lies a long, underground corridor carved into bedrock. Lining its walls are 24 massive granite coffers, each one cut from a single block of stone, each one weighing between 70 and 100 tons. Each one polished so smoothly that light glides across the surface like water. These aren't rough stone boxes. Their interior angles are almost perfectly square. Their faces are flatter than what many modern factories can machine, even with lasers. And they're empty. No hieroglyphs inside. No tools left behind. No clear explanation of how they were even placed there. Granite doesn't exist anywhere near Saqqara. The closest known quarry is over 800 kilometers away in Aswan. So here's the real problem. How do you transport a stone heavier than a commercial airplane engine? Drag it across half a continent, lower it into a narrow underground tunnel, and slide it into a chamber with no room for pulleys or ramps. Even today, moving something like this would require heavy cranes, steel rollers, hydraulic jacks, and precise planning software. The ancient Egyptians had ropes, wooden sleds, and human muscle. Some researchers argue the boxes were dragged on lubricated sand. Others say they were floated down the Nile on barges. A few suggest they were carved in place. But none of these explanations fully solve the geometry problem. There's simply no clear path that shows how the boxes could have been rotated, aligned, and lowered into position without breaking the tunnels themselves. And then there's the strangest detail of all. The boxes were meant to hold the remains of sacred bulls. Not kings, not gods, not treasures, just animals. Yet these are some of the most precisely carved stone objects ever found in Egypt. Which raises an uncomfortable question. Why would a civilization pour its greatest engineering effort into containers for something that could have fit inside wooden coffins? Maybe the Serapeum isn't evidence of lost machines, or alien visitors, or secret technologies. Maybe it's evidence of something quieter and harder to accept. That ancient humans were willing to spend decades of coordinated labor, not for profit, not for efficiency, but for meaning. We like to believe progress is a straight line, that each generation is smarter than the last, that we stand at the peak of human capability. But places like the Serapeum whisper a different story, that intelligence isn't just about tools. It's about patience, organization, and a willingness to commit entire lifetimes to something no one alive would ever see finished. Maybe the real mystery isn't how they moved the boxes. Maybe it's why we no longer build anything that demands that kind of devotion. Imagine sculpting a skyscraper by destroying a mountain, not building upward, not stacking blocks, but carving straight down into solid rock, with no blueprint errors allowed. That's exactly what happened at the Kailasa Temple in India. In the middle of the Ellora caves stands a structure that looks assembled, but isn't. It's a full temple complex. Pillars, halls, stairways, statues, even life-size stone elephants. all carved from a single piece of volcanic rock. One mistake, one wrong strike, one cracked column, and the entire project would have been ruined. Forever. This wasn't construction. It was irreversible subtraction. To create it, workers had to remove roughly 200,000 tons of stone. That's enough rock to fill a modern football stadium. Enough debris to bury a small town. And yet, there's no mountain of rubble nearby. No clear record of how the waste was moved. No inscriptions bragging about the achievement. Only the finished result, standing there like a frozen miracle. Historians estimate the entire temple was finished in less than 2 decades. That number should make you pause. Because when you break it down, it means an impossible amount of stone had to disappear every day. Not slowly, not occasionally, but relentlessly. Day after day, year after year. No motors, no metal drills, no mechanical advantage beyond ropes and leverage. Just hands, timing, and a level of coordination most modern projects can't even maintain with software. It's tempting to reach for dramatic explanations. Some people imagine lost machines. Others talk about sound waves that soften stone. A few insist there must have been some forgotten technology we'll never rediscover. But none of that is necessary. What actually makes Kailasa disturbing isn't advanced tools. It's advanced discipline. An entire workforce moving like a single organism. Every cut planned long before the first strike. Every mistake unacceptable. Every delay multiplied across years of effort. This wasn't innovation. It was endurance engineered at a civilizational scale. And that's the detail most people glide past. They weren't trying to finish quickly. They were trying to finish at all. They were carving something. Their grandchildren would finish. Kailasa Temple isn't proof of forgotten devices. It's proof of something modern society barely recognizes anymore. Long-term thinking. We live in a world that worships speed, instant results, rapid growth, quarterly goals. But this temple exists because an entire civilization accepted a different rhythm of life. A rhythm where progress meant patience, where ambition meant sacrifice, where success meant creating something too large for a single lifetime. Maybe the real mystery isn't how they carved a mountain into a temple. Maybe it's how we became a species that builds faster, but dreams smaller. Imagine discovering a city beneath your house. Not a tunnel, not a cave, but a complete underground world. That's what happened in 1963, when a man in central Turkey knocked down a wall in his basement and found a hidden passage leading into darkness. What he uncovered was Derinkuyu, an underground city carved into volcanic rock, descending more than 18 levels below the surface. Not a hideout, not a single shelter, a fully functioning settlement that could support up to 20,000 people. There were living quarters, kitchens, schools, storage rooms, churches, wine presses, even spaces for livestock. Fresh air flowed through a ventilation system so clever that it still works today. Water came from protected wells hidden deep inside the rock. This wasn't a panic bunker. It was a long-term way of life. And the deeper you go, the stranger it becomes. The entrances could be sealed from the inside using massive stone doors shaped like millstones. Once closed, they turned narrow tunnels into dead ends. Invaders could stand just meters away and never realize an entire city was breathing beneath their feet. The question isn't how they carved it. The rock here is soft when cut and hardens when exposed to air. The real question is why they needed something like this in the first place. Because building a city underground isn't a symbol of ambition. It's a confession of fear. For centuries, this region was a crossroads of invasion: Persians, Romans, Byzantines, Arabs, Mongols. Empires rose and collapsed like tides. Living above ground meant being visible. Being visible meant being conquered. So instead of building higher walls, these people chose disappearance. They designed a world that could vanish without warning. No smoke, no noise, no lights, just empty hills hiding thousands of lives inside. What makes Derinkuyu unsettling isn't its scale, it's its psychology. This wasn't built by dreamers chasing glory. It was built by communities that expected disaster and refused to die when it arrived. Every corridor is a memory of past violence. Every sealed doorway is a lesson learned the hard way. We usually celebrate monuments that reach toward the sky. Derinkuyu tells a different story, that survival sometimes means going underground, that progress isn't always visible, that the smartest civilizations aren't the loudest ones. Maybe the real mystery isn't how they built a city beneath the earth. Maybe it's why we keep pretending our world is stable, when history shows it never has been. Imagine climbing what looks like an ordinary hill and discovering it isn't a hill at all. That's what happened at Gunung Padang in Indonesia. For generations, locals treated it as a sacred place. People came to pray among strange stone columns scattered across the slope, believing it was just an ancient terrace built on a natural rise in the land. Then, in the early 2010s, a team of Indonesian geologists ran ground-penetrating radar beneath the surface. What they found changed the conversation completely. Under layers of soil and vegetation were stacked stone formations arranged in repeating patterns. Deeper scans suggested multiple construction layers, not just one structure, but several phases built on top of each other. This wasn't just a shrine, it was a buried complex. When researchers analyzed organic material trapped between stones, some results came back shockingly old, tens of thousands of years, far earlier than any known monumental construction on Earth. That claim triggered global controversy. Some scientists argued the dates were contaminated. Others said the deeper layers were natural rock, not architecture. A few insisted it was proof of a forgotten Ice Age civilization. The truth sits in a quieter, stranger middle ground. Geologists later showed that many of the stone pillars are columnar basalt, a natural formation created when lava cools, and fractures into hexagonal shapes. In other words, nature made the raw building blocks, but humans clearly rearranged them. They leveled terraces, they reinforced slopes, they stacked thousands of basalt columns into stairways, platforms, and retaining walls. Gunung Padang wasn't built from nothing. It was reshaped from something already there, which makes it more unsettling, not less, because it suggests that people living long before agriculture and metal tools weren't just surviving. They were organizing, they were planning, they were cooperating across generations to transform a mountain into a ceremonial center. No kings, no written language, no permanent cities, just social discipline strong enough to move stone and sustain a shared goal. For centuries, that's the part history struggles to explain. We like to imagine early humans as scattered hunter-gatherers with short attention spans and simple lives. Gunung Padang doesn't fit that story. It hints at a society capable of patience, memory, and long-term coordination, long before textbooks say that was possible. Maybe this site isn't proof of lost technology. Maybe it's proof of something more uncomfortable. That civilization doesn't begin with metal or writing. It begins when people decide something matters enough to outlive them. And maybe the real mystery isn't how old Gunung Padang is. Maybe it's how many times human knowledge has quietly risen and been buried again without leaving a single line in our history books.